What's up, truck drivers? It's Kenny again. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm sitting in Liberal, Kansas, waiting on a load. And I thought I'd make a video about whether or not you should become a truck driver. You know, how to become a truck driver. You know, that's an easy subject because just about any company out there, you know, there's a whole lot of them that'll do everything for you and send you to a school. They'll even give you a bus ticket down to where they're at, put you up in a hotel, send you to truck driving school for a month, put you with a trainer, and do everything you need to do to get started. Okay, you're going to be able to find that no problem as long as you're 25 years old, you got a good driving record, you don't do drugs, more or less, and you can pass the physical. So, should you become a truck driver? That's the real question, because, you know, hold on. Because truck driving, you know, the industry is always short on drivers, always needing drivers. It's just a huge revolving door. People come in, they find out that they don't like it and they can't hack it and they quit, or they come in and they get fired. But I think more often than not, people come in and they didn't know what they were getting into and they quit. So you should really think about whether or not you want to be a truck driver. And, you know, there are some things that I could tell you to help you be successful. But first you need to ask yourself some things like, you know, are you the type of person who has a whole lot of bills at home and you got a family and you're going to have to send a bunch of money home? Because if you are, and if you're doing this to try to support a family with a good amount of bills, it's probably going to be really difficult for you. I mean, there's a lot of people who do make that work, but you have to be aware that you're going to kind of suffer out here on this road if you have to send a whole bunch of your money back. You know, when you first start driving trucks, you're not going to make very much money at first. And you know, truth is, like, as a company driver, no matter where you go, you're not going to really make that much money. I mean, you know, you might average, you know, if you're doing real well after the first year, you might average $1,000 a week. You know, the last time they pulled up my average, including home time and stuff, I was averaging about $850 a week. But it feels like you know, there's some weeks I make $1,200 and some weeks I make $800. So without the home time, without averaging in the time that I take off, and I'm not making money, I probably make about $1,000 a week. You know, $900 to $1,000 a week average. But you're not going to make that at first. Like when you first get out of school, you're going to get out of school, you're going to be paying for that school, it's going to be coming out your check, and you know, you'll be lucky if you're pulling down $800 a week. You know, and you got to realize that that's not going to be every week. See, you know, the jobs that you get outside the trucking industry, you work in a certain amount of hours per week, and so you more or less can count on you're going to make X amount of dollars every week within, you know, a certain small range. With truck driving, you know, you may do 3,200 miles one week and have a whole bunch of, like, you know, detention and different types of things that they're paying you on top of that, and make $1,200 that week. Next week you may only get 1,600 miles and you may get a small paycheck. You know, it's different. And then also there's, you know, the way most trucking companies work, you have to have your trips sent in by a certain day. Well, for us it's Tuesdays at 3 p.m. So if you get kind of a short week and then you're on a trip that don't finish until after the cutoff time on Tuesday, that week's check might be really small, and then that last trip would go on that next check and you get a big check. So you got to be prepared for that, for kind of an inconsistency in pay. And you know, that can be difficult also, like I say, when you have a family back home and they're, you know, you're really needing to send that certain amount back home every week. You know, it's something to consider. You know, another thing you might consider, sorry, my truck's going to do its thing here real quick. Another thing you might consider is, you know, are you super meticulous about taking a shower every day? I mean, about it, taking one every day, and you got to have it every day. I mean, you can make that happen, but it's not likely. You're looking at every 2-3 days taking a shower out here, so you might want to just be prepared for that. Unless you want to pay for showers and stuff, because you're going to fuel probably every other day, and every time you fuel, you're going to get a shower credit. You're going to be able to take a shower. So, if you have time to take one, then you can take one that day or whatever. If you try to take one when you're ready to go to sleep, if it's 5, 6 at night, you'll have to wait an hour to get into a shower. So that's something that you have to think about. I usually am able to shower a couple times a week. If I wanted to pay for it, I could shower every day. You know what I mean? But I'm just not. It's not a big deal to me. I'm not doing anything to get dirty all the time. Anyway, that's just something to consider. But let me tell you, if you're a type of person that gets aggravated really easily, because you might not want to do this, because you're going to be at shippers, and sometimes they're going to be assholes, and sometimes you might wait 5-6 hours to get loaded. You might be there 5-6 hours to get unloaded. And sometimes that can be aggravating. There's things out here that can be aggravating, and I see a lot of people, or hear them on the radio and stuff, who just let themselves get worked up and agitated about everything, and they're going to give themselves an aneurysm out here. So you need to be able to stay positive and be happy out here, and a lot of this stuff plays into that. If you're sending $500-$600 a week home to mama, and you ain't there to spend it, you're going to be in the truck living on peanut butter sandwiches, and that is not really a happy life for most people. So that you just need to be realistic if you decide to come into this business. Now, I'm not trying to discourage you, okay, but I'm saying that there's a huge turnover rate for a reason. People come in and they think they're going to make all this money, and they're going to see the country and all this stuff, and it's like it's not going to happen. I mean, you're going to see the country. You're going to see the country. Okay, you're going to see lots of the country, but you're going to see it from the freeway. You're going to see it from behind this steering wheel, and you're going to see it from sitting in the truck stop. That's where you're going to see the country from. It's not like you can just pull this 18-wheeler into a museum and go check something out. You ain't driving this thing to Six Flags to go ride roller coasters. Now, if you got time off, you might take an Uber somewhere and do something. It does happen sometimes. But overall, that's your goal needs to be to realize that from the moment you get your commercial driver's license, when you get your commercial driver's license, all right, you're more or less signing a contract that says, I don't need no free time. Because you're going to spend the majority of your time from that point forward behind the steering wheel. And that don't matter if you working local or if you working over the road or what you're doing. I worked local for many years driving concrete mixers and operating concrete pumps and stuff like that. And you're still going to spend all your time, because that's what commercial driving is all about. They regulate your hours, and the company wants all them hours. They want them hours, and you're going to work them hours. When I was in the concrete business, mixers and pumps, either side, you didn't know what time you had to be at work the next day until about 5. And then they would tell you. And sometimes you'd have to be at work at midnight. Sometimes you'd have to be at work at 10 a.m. But either way, you coming in and you working your 12, 13, 14 hours. They're going to get all them hours. So, yeah, you get to go home every day. But by the time you get home, you're ready to conk out and hit the pillow. And then you usually waking up before you're ready to wake up and going right back to it. It's just the nature of this business. And that's another thing you should consider is the sleep schedule. The sleep schedule, like if you sleep till 10 in the morning and stuff like that, and you can't control your sleep habits, this definitely is not for you. Definitely, because you might have to deliver a load 2 a.m. and the next load you might deliver it at 4 a.m. Next load you may deliver it at 8 p.m. And you may have to drive weird hours to get there in time. Sometimes things fall so that you have to drive weird hours. I try to drive between 4 a.m. and 4 p.m. is how I like to do it. 4 a.m. and 5 p.m. ish. And but there's a lot of times when I have to go way outside that to make deliveries on time. And time management is super important in this job. If you can't manage your time and manage these clocks that you have to keep up with, you're going to have a problem. You got to be on time. If you're not on time, you're definitely going to be getting 1,500-mile weeks, because once they figure out that you can't deliver every load on time, they're going to be leery about giving you the good loads. So it's really important for you to be good at time management. So with that said, if you feel like you kind of fit into these criteria, maybe truck driving is for you. If you answered to a lot of those questions and you were like, oh, I didn't realize that, I might not be able to handle that, then you may not be right for this business. I'm going to tell you, like I said, I'm going to tell you how I think is the best way to be a successful in truck driving, okay? Number one, you need to either be single or you need to have a family to where your wife or significant other makes good money and can mostly support what you got there. That's what you need. You can't be the one who's expected to pay all them bills all the time. There needs to be another income going on that other side, and so that you can stay comfortable on the road. Now, the best way to do it is to be single, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is the way I'm doing it this time. And I am so much more comfortable on the road than I was before. I got rid of all my bills. I mean, my total bills are about $200 a month. So all my money that I make just stacks up in the bank. And so that makes it to where if I want to eat at a restaurant, I can eat at a restaurant. If I want to eat at a restaurant every night, I can do that. If I want to buy something for my truck, I can do that. If I want to stop at a casino because I got extra time and spend $1,000, I can do that. But if, like the first time I drove, I was having to send a whole bunch of money home. This was years and years ago. And my life was miserable. It was miserable out here. Living on cans of ravioli and peanut butter sandwiches and shit, because I didn't have no money because I was sending it all home. And it's expensive to live out here. It is. I mean, you're going to spend $200-300 a week just to live out here on the road. I mean, you can't just stop at a Cracker Barrel. You can't just stop at a Taco Bell. You stop at the truck stop, and the truck stop knows that. So just as an example, a little Velveeta mac and cheese dinner thing, like a mac and cheese with bacon in it, stuff like that. You buy that at the Walmart for $2.50. Sometimes you can get to a Walmart, all right, but not all the time. But you buy that same $2.50 meal at a truck stop, that's going to cost you $8. $8. No shit. Little thing of ramen soup, a couple dollars, for something that costs 25 cents at the store. The truck stops know that you can't just stop anywhere. And, if you're going to go in and you're going to go to the little, Subway or whatever, you get out of there for $10-15, you're going to spend $10 to $20 every time you eat at a truck stop, unless you're just eating hot dogs or little crackers or something, So be prepared to spend $200-300 a week to live, and that's not including like if you want to buy stuff for your truck to make you more comfortable and stuff. So yeah, the best way, in my opinion, to do it is to eliminate as many bills as possible at home, to where you're not spending a bunch of money out on stuff that you don't get to use. If you're the type of person who's single and wants to really start a career, and you can get rid of most of your bills at home and come out on the road, you'll probably make it. If you can deal with the weird sleep schedule and you can stay positive, and you'll make it. But just be wary before you just jump right into driving trucks, that you're going to suffer for the first year or so. You're going to be with a company, you're going to be paying back that loan for the school, and they know you're under contracts, they're not going to pay you very good, and you just be prepared for it. You know, if you're prepared for it and you're prepared to suffer through that first year, a lot of options will open up for you, you know, within reason. I mean, you can go local and do stuff, but like I said, they're still going to want all them hours, and most likely it's going to be weird hours. Or you can go on the road and, you know, be a little more free, but you're not going to get home. And that's another thing that I didn't really touch on is, if you think you're going to get home every 2 weeks, you got another thing coming. Like, you might be able to get home every 2 weeks, but they're only going to give you a day or two off, and, you know, you're going to lose money because you're going to have to do something short to get into home, and then they're probably going to hit you something short out of home, and so you're going to potentially fuck up 2 paychecks every time you go home. So best way to think about home time is get with a company that has loads that run through your house. That way, you know, a company with a terminal near you or something. That way, when you're through there, you can drive real hard till you get there, take a day off, and then deliver your load or something like that, so you can get a day off. And then about every month to month and a half, something like that, you take some time off. You know, and you're going to lose a week's pay, but, you know, if you can bear that, if you're saving money and you're eliminating bills and stuff like that, you'll have a big old wad of cash by the time you get home. You know, I get home, I usually have $3-4 grand. I can get a nice hotel room and hang out with my son or whatever, and still have plenty of money left. Buy him some shit, you know, and whatever. So, you know, that's a good strategy for home time. If you're one of these guys or girls who's going to be like, I got to get home, I got to get home every 2 weeks, home, you ain't going to make it. You just ain't. I mean, you look at them on Facebook, on these ads and stuff, that's what everybody asks. How often can I get home? How much can I get home? How much can I get home? Every truck driver trying to get home. Home, you ain't making no money. You ain't making no money at home. You ain't making no money unless them wheels are turning. And we out here to make money. So, you know, you just need to be aware that you're making a lifestyle choice when you get a CDL, when you become a truck driver. You're making a lifestyle choice, and that lifestyle choice is to give up your free time for the money, to be gone, be on the road for the money. So you need to structure your life so that works for you, and it doesn't like tear you up inside and just aggravate you all the time, or else you're not going to make it. Now again, it's going to be real easy for you to go get a CDL. You can go get a CDL. No, they'll give one to anybody. I see the dumbest people I ever seen in my life that got CDLs that don't have no business driving a truck and got a CDL. And the reason is, like I said, because people, they don't know what they're getting into, and they come out here and then they quit. And then so that's why you see these big companies. They got 20 people they're training up, and then as soon as they're trained up in 4 or 5 days, the next week, bam, they got 20 more people. You think they got that many trucks? No, they ain't got that many trucks. They got that many people quitting every day. So just be aware that it ain't all roses and fun and fantastic. You can make it comfortable, you can make it good, and you can enjoy it. You just got to be prepared for what it really is, and get rid of all the weird expectations that you have built up in your mind about what you think it's going to be. So go get it, go do it if you think it's for you, and good luck, everybody. I'll talk at you later.